GMSL, and today we will be discussing tennis, and we had the President of the Tennis Association with us for both break, and right now we have a very special guest. But just before we introduce our guest, I have to remind you that the Roland Garros is being telecast live and exclusively on MTV Sports at 2:30 p.m. until the 9th of this month, so next month actually. So please stay tuned and watch the Roland Garros, because it's a very interesting tournament, and a small tiny incy-wincy little bit of information, Jason, that I think you might find.
I wanted to ask you, do you know why it's called the Roland Garros?
Exactly, right?
Do you?
Well, I do.
I know what it is.
Okay, just tell us.
I literally just read up on it just now.
Okay,
so I'm trying to be pretty smart. So, but anyways, this guy was like this, he was an aviator, like a fighter pilot.
Yes.
In World War I. And he's also, he had the stadium is also named after him as well. But
isn't that strange? Why was he like a tennis player, an aviator, a tennis
passion, I guess. I guess it's the passion.
Yes, and I think our guest here knows exactly why, because he's nodding, so we'll introduce him and then you can ask him.
And he's like, should I answer? Should I answer? Alright, right now we have in the studio Rajiv Rajapaksa, who's a national, I would say treasure, a national treasure. He's a Davis Cup player. How's it going? Good morning, by the way.
Good morning.
You feeling good?
Feeling very good.
I know, because I'm here. Alright, Sam, so anyways, we want to talk to you. What was the experience like, being a Sri Lankan and actually going for a tournament like that, the Davis Cup?
Well, every Sri Lankan player's dream is to represent Sri Lanka in the Davis Cup tie. And I've played 41 Davis Cup ties for Sri Lanka. But I would have to say that the last tie that we played against Lebanon was a very memorable one, because every single teammate of ours contributed to our win, and it was a very important tie, as it was a relegation tie, and if we had lost that we would get demoted to Group 3. So we did everything we can to remain in Group 2.
So teamwork was brilliant. Everyone was resonating in the same frequency. You guys did, that was teamwork in the
exactly. I mean, tennis is actually an individual sport, and Davis Cup is the only team sport that you play as a team.
Yeah.
And especially in this tie, every single player of us contributed. And that's what
about ties. I think we spoke about this earlier as well with Sam. Sam actually brought this up. She was like, "Why do they call it ties?" I was like, "Is it because it's a tie, or?" But no, you said something.
No, I just
actually called it tie.
Exactly. Yeah. Every like a match, like the previous match, Sri Lanka versus Lebanon.
Yeah.
Instead of saying match, you just say it's a tie. It's another word for match.
Rajiv, tell us a little bit about the standard of our players as compared to international players. Where do we stand really?
Well, currently we are in Asia Oceania Group 2.
Okay.
So there is 4 groups in Asia Oceania, and Sri Lanka is currently in Group 2. So every continent there's a section of matches like that.
Okay.
And the top. Every year there's 2 who get promoted and 2 who will get demoted.
Okay.
So we are currently in Group 2 at the moment.
Okay, so from what I understand, I haven't seen very many Asian names on the map for tennis. Is there a reason the whole ranking system that you just mentioned is
Well, it's actually increasing from Asia. Before it was many of the Europeans and the Western countries that was doing well for tennis.
Yeah.
And the reason for that is, it's just that in Asia there's still not as, the exposure is not as good as they would have it in the West.
Okay.
But it's increasing now. A lot of new Asian tennis players who are doing well and in the top 100 of the world.
And even the Sri Lankan players are doing very well as well, right?
Certainly. This year is the first time after 18 years we remained in Group 2 for 3 consecutive years.
I see.
So that's a big thing for us too. So we are moving up the ladder, and now our next goal is to make it to Group 1, which Sri Lanka has never been to in Group 1.
And we have a real chance right now of doing that.
Well, we're working towards it, and I say, yeah, we certainly have a good chance.
Okay, that's great.
Is tennis at that level, where you could play it as it would be a profession in Sri Lanka?
You could, but it's still not. I wouldn't really compare it to cricket and all, because there's less sponsorships. So the tennis standard of the juniors are still very high.
Yeah.
So once you leave school, you got to make a decision if you're really talented, whether you're going to pursue tennis as a profession, or whether you're going to give up.
And what are the prospects like for a player straight after school who wants to professionally pursue tennis? Because if it's a cricket player now, he has serious options, he has a career path that he can follow.
Sure.
But in tennis, what is it like?
It's still much less, because tennis is not as popular as cricket or rugby or at track and field. But if you're really good at tennis, there are you have there's a lot of scope, and then there's a lot of people who are willing to sponsor you as well.
Okay.
I know a lot of newbies, correct me if I'm wrong, play on clay or hard courts.
Say it again.
A lot of newbies, like a
Yeah.
lot of new tennis players, they do play on clay or hard courts.
Correct.
Like, is there a difference between like the green courts or something?
Sure. Well, there's three surfaces altogether. There's grass, there's hard, and there's clay. In Sri Lanka, we only have hard courts and clay courts.
Right.
And the difference is the grass is the fastest surface,
Oh, okay.
and the clay is the slowest. So hard too is fast, and it's the way the ball bounces. So clay court, where Sri Lanka, majority of the courts in Sri Lanka, I would say even 80% of the courts in Sri Lanka are clay courts, and they're all clay. So it's very slow. So you have
Okay.
longer rallies. You have a better chance to get to the ball.
Right.
On a grass or a hard court where the ball is faster, you have less rallies.
Okay.
Rajiv, we actually just started telecasting the Roland Garros, and tell us a little bit about what to expect and who your favorite player is and who you're rooting for.
Well, my favorite player is Djokovic.
Okay.
But like I mentioned about the surfaces, I would really think the favorite this year is Nadal, because he likes clay court. He likes a slower game. The clay court is perfect for his game.
I see.
So if I have to put my money, it would be on Nadal.
All right,
Okay.
that's guys. What I'm interested is in what your thoughts on the girls are. Yeah.
The girls, there's a big competition amongst the girls, but I would think Sharapova would have a very good chance this year. She's playing well. She has a good build up towards the Roland Garros.
All right.
So she will be one of my favorites.
And we had we actually telecast the opening ceremony as well. There was quite a few very interesting. Yes, Jay.
I remember that. I was like
We had-
fixed on television.
And yes, we had Bob Sinclair performing as well. So we have the video ready for you to take a look at. So we'll take a look at that and come back to JMSR.
C'est le plus grand dans sa partie. Il est là, Bob Sinclair!
Welcome back to Roland Garros, where the revelry has well and truly started. And on Saturday, superstar DJ Bob Sinclair shook court Philippe Chatrier with a little help from his friends.
Touch my spirit like the summer moonlight. Kissing on the shore, I be my love to touch it, yeah, touch it, gentle, touch it, yeah, touch it, touch it, yeah, touch it, gentle, touch it.
So much of energy and so much of life that surrounds the tennis matches in like the international games. Why is it that in Sri Lanka we don't have such a big crowd gathering to these events?
Well, tennis is still not as popular. I mean, Sri Lanka is dominated by cricket. Cricket is like a religion in Sri Lanka, and everybody plays cricket. Tennis used to be only in Colombo, but today there is a lot of outstation tennis, and even our top players all are from outstation.
Okay.
And currently the association is promoting a lot of outstation
Yes.
tennis as well. So at the moment, it's still not as popular as a rugby or a cricket match, but it's getting there.
But what can be done? What can people do? What can players like you do? What can we do as a media to like sort of grab the eyeballs and get people coming in like that and get the players the support that they really need to go into like the international circuit?
Well, the better our country does in tennis too, it will attract more people. One of the reasons we are so into cricket is because Sri Lanka does well in cricket,
Yes.
and we have some of the top players, top batsmen are Sri Lankans. So tennis, we still haven't reached that level
Okay.
of achievements in tennis, but in Asia standards, I'd say we're pretty good.
But getting back to that video, I'm sorry, I couldn't get I just watched it. I was like, wow, dude, tennis is awesome. That was like the best opening ceremony I've ever seen. But Bob Sinclair, I mean, like, would Sri Lanka ever do that? You know, like have a really sort of amazing, I was thinking of a word to say, but amazing opening ceremony?
Well, yeah, I mean, getting somebody like Bob Sinclair to a
Or you could get me. Whatever, Bob Sinclair, me, it's almost the same thing. But anyways, yeah, continue.
yeah, like getting somebody like Bob Sinclair to a opening ceremony catches more attention. So if we do get somebody famous for tennis as well, that will bring in the crowd more.
All right, cool.
Now, Rajiv, you were mentioning Djokovic and how he was your favorite player, and he just recently very publicly stated that he wants to win the French Open. Now, that's his goal for 2013. And you also said that Nadal seemed like he was in a better position to win
Correct.
as well. And he almost won, I think, 7 times in a
Sure.
row. So, tell me a little bit about that dynamic.
Well, like I said, it comes back to the surface of the court.
Okay.
On a person like Djokovic, if I had to say the way he plays his game, grass court would be the perfect for his game.
Okay.
But so that's why I said Nadal has advantage, because Nadal's game is suited very well on clay. So clay is actually the hardest surface to play too, and that's the only Grand Slam that is on clay.
Okay.
So that is why I would say Nadal would be the favorite.
And just out of curiosity, how do you say that a certain player is now like suited for clay or suited for, how do you analyze that?
Well, it's the way they play their game. I mean, if it's a person who likes to hit winners all the time, a person who likes to go up to net and like shorter points,
Okay.
then I would say clay is not the surface for them.
Okay.
And the Roland Garros would be a very hard tournament for them to win. But if it's a player who likes to be on the court a long time, who likes to run around a lot, who's fast on the court, then the French Open would be the
Alright.
tournament for them.
Speaking of Roland Garros, I understand that you're going next week.
That's right. I'm hoping to go and see some of the matches there.
Nice. But like, this is the first time are you going to be watching, or will you?
Yeah, I'm actually going to watch the matches. Yeah,
Alright.
I planned it ahead. So
Is
I
this the
got some
first time that
tickets.
you're actually going out of Sri Lanka, not to play, but to watch?
Exactly. I've never seen a Grand Slam, and I'm really looking forward to it. And as I mentioned before, the Roland Garros would be my favorite Grand Slam too, because there'll be longer rallies than any other Grand Slam.
If you guys, let me just send this is a public message. If you see a Sri Lankan guy waving a flag, this guy.
Yeah. Make myself noticeable.
Definitely.